Hey, my name is Dion Davis, and welcome to the Dion Davis Show. This show is called "Positivity is the Way to Go," and this is episode two, hypnotherapy and law of attraction. I am with my guest today. She has been a worldwide leader in hypnotherapy. She is the best-selling author of international speaker. She is a life success coach and renowned authority of the law of attraction. Welcome my guest today, Victoria Gallagher. It is a pleasure to have such a great mind like yours on my show today. And
Hey, well, thank you very much. And let me help you out there, just for the future. We pronounce that word hypnotherapy, like hypnosis. We pronounce it hypnotherapy. So, so number two, huh? This is your second podcast.
yeah, this is my second episode. Yes.
Well, congratulations on getting your new podcast up and running.
Let's get started with the interview. What is hypnotherapy and why is it so important to society as a whole?
Okay, well, let's go ahead and dive into right into that. So, what is hypnotherapy? I guess the best way to explain what hypnotherapy is you have a mind with many different functions. Okay, you have in your mind you have your conscious thinking mind, and your conscious thinking mind is the mind that you use to to analyze data. It's where your willpower is. It's where your short-term memory is. It's what you use. It's like your surface level of thinking. Does that make sense? But
Yes.
below your conscious mind, you have what's called your subconscious mind. If you think about it, it's it's below the conscious mind. And it's all of the things that are going on in your mind behind the scenes. It is, if you think of it in terms of like an iceberg, okay, you can see an iceberg, you just see the tip of the iceberg in the ocean, but below that is this vast amount of ice, and it's obviously a much bigger part of the iceberg. And that's how the subconscious mind is. So the subconscious mind controls everything that you do. It's in charge of all of your bodily functions, your heart beating, your eyes blinking, your blood flow, everything that's, is running at that level of mind. Your emotions, if you ever feel like emotional, you're not really sure why, it's because of something going on in that subconscious mind. And it's also where all of your beliefs, everything that you identify with in the world, everything that you believe, unconsciously, it's at that subconscious level of mind. So what hypnosis and hypnotherapy do is it basically takes whatever it is that you consciously want to achieve or accomplish, and it gets that information into your subconscious mind in a matter of speaking. So if, say, you are somebody who wants to quit smoking or lose weight or reduce stress or be able to recall a memory, or whatever it is, it's you're going to plant seeds into that subconscious level of mind, and you do that through hypnotherapy. So hypnotherapy is really just relaxing that conscious mind so that you can talk directly to that subconscious mind. That's essentially what it is. It's just getting that conscious mind out of the way. And however we do it, we usually go through an induction process, and we say close the eyes and relax and focus on your breathing, and the conscious mind kind of goes not really to sleep, but it just sort of relaxes, so that now we can actually gently get all that information that you want from your conscious mind to be delivered into your subconscious mind. And then we can reprogram it to do whatever it is that you want to do, because that is where all of your power is in your subconscious mind.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I learned a lot about hypnotherapy. I didn't know what it meant at first.
Yeah, good. I love teaching people. I love enlightening and bringing awareness to people and letting them know. The thing is that we're so powerful. We just have so much more power than we realize, and it's because it can be a little difficult to access if you don't have these tools available. So I'm glad, to be able to share that with you and your
Thank you.
audience. Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you. I got another question. Is it safe? Is it safe to use self hypnosis in public places?
In public places,
Yes.
that's a really, really good question. I'm glad you asked that. So, self hypnosis in and of itself is relatively safe. Okay. But when you say a public place, it really depends on what you mean. Because, just like anything, if you're going into self hypnosis and you close your eyes for a little while and you just want to kind of zone out and relax, you want to make sure that you're in a safe place to do that. So, if you're in a beautiful beach or a park or something that you feel safe there and nobody's gonna bother you, then it's okay to do it. But you really want to do it in a place where you're going to be left alone, where you're not going to get distracted, where you don't have to worry about, just anything happening. You want to always put yourself in an environment where you can be completely at ease and comfortable and, turn off all of your devices and all of that. So, like, sometimes if you're in a public place, you may not be able to have that experience. So maybe you could let me know, like, what kind of a public place were you thinking about?
Maybe the restaurant
A
or school.
restaurant? Yeah, like, so if you're at a restaurant, probably not, because there's a lot of noise going on in the restaurant and it's going to divert your focus. And you really want to be able to focus all of your attention on whatever the hypnotist is telling you to do. So a restaurant may not be it's not that it's not safe, but it may not be the best place, to go about doing it. School, like, so if you were in an auditorium and there was a hypnotist on stage and they were hypnotizing everybody in the audience, then that would be safe. But so something along that line would be totally fine.
So like places like the library then where it's quiet.
Yeah, a library would be great. Yeah, absolutely. And especially if you were listening to, I have an app that people download where they can get access to lots of different hypnosis programs. And so, if you were, for example, listening to my HypnoCloud app, with your earbuds, in the library, and you just wanted to do that in the library, that would be perfectly fine. So that's but that's more like self hypnosis, practicing, using some guided, some guided recorded audios.
Okay, okay. Now I know
Yeah.
places where to go now to do that.
Yes.
I got another question. How will I know that I have gone through hypnosis?
Oh, that's a very good question. So, there's a couple of ways that you can tell if you are in hypnosis. There's what happens when you enter a state of hypnosis, you become, very alert, very aware of a lot of sensations that might be happening in your body. So you might feel like, you might feel like heightened emotions. You might feel like your eyes kind of twitching a little bit. You might feel like a little buzz kind of going through your body. You might feel a little like hot, temperature change, like hot or cold. Feeling throughout your body, especially your limbs. Sometimes your hands will get a little uh a little bit colder or a little bit warmer, or they might tingle. That's another really good way to tell if you're in hypnosis. And they're very subtle changes. A lot of times when people go into hypnosis, they're looking in their mind for, like, am I in hypnosis? Am I hypnotized? Am I hypnotized? And when you when you do that, when you do that, you're actually taking yourself out of the state. So it's one of those things. I always say, don't worry about it. Just follow the instructions, just follow the directions, and know that you are there. But those are ultimately some of the little cues, that can kind of let you know, is just kind of notice, like, ooh, I'm just feeling a little, chilled out, and I'm really, really enjoying this. And, and that is definitely, if your state changes a little bit, then you're there.
It's like baking a cake. You got to follow the instructions from the
It
first step
really
to the
is.
last step.
It really is. It's just one of those things. It's a subtle change, so you don't, really, you're not really aware necessarily that you're in it until after you've come out of it. And sometimes what also happens after you come, I just, even one of my clients who is a hypnotist, by the way, and so he already knows what to expect, but he thought, after we had a half an hour session, he thought he'd only been in hypnosis for 10 minutes. And so you do experience sometimes, some time distortion. And yeah, when I gave him the recording, he's like, I didn't even know that was a half an hour, Victoria. That's crazy. And so, sometimes you don't even realize that you were in hypnosis until later on. And then you also know when, you've actually experienced the changes, the
Okay,
changes
I got
that'll take place, that you're getting programmed for. When you decide that you want to quit smoking or lose weight, and then all of a sudden now you're reaching for apples instead of chocolate cake, you realize, oh, I guess that worked.
it takes commitment.
Yes, and it does, it takes commitment to want, you need to have to want the change, that, like, a person, one of the myths when it comes to hypnosis is that you can, that, oh, be careful, don't go around that person because they might look at you and just hypnotize you to do whatever they want. And the thing is that it doesn't work that way at all. You have to have your own internal motivation for wanting something to change. And then when the hypnotist gives you the suggestions, you have the ability, you have total free will to accept those suggestions, because you hear all the suggestions, you hear what's going on with your conscious mind. You're not like a robot, and the suggestions are just coming in, and you're like, because you've seen those stage shows. I'm sure you've heard about, people getting on stage and acting silly and things like that. And they do that because they already know they're going to be on stage. And it's not to say that they're not hypnotized, but they already know they're there. They raised their hand, they said, yeah, I want to go up there. They already know what's going to happen before they go up there, right? They're already buying in. And so it's the same thing when you go into hypnosis for, like, serious changes. You say, I'm coming here because I want to have a change happen in my life, and I'm committed to this. And so you accept and you allow the suggestions to take hold.
Okay, so what is the difference between hypnosis and the placebo effect?
They're essentially almost the same thing if you really think about it, because the placebo effect is just getting you to think that this you're taking something and it is real and you're hypnotized just by that pill or whatever it is that you're taking. So say that this pill is expected to you're expecting this pill to give you some sort of relief or make you feel a certain way, and it's this exact same thing really with hypnosis. There's really, honestly, I think it's a really interesting and good question. I'm curious where you came up with that question because I haven't ever been asked that before, and it is really an interesting question because honestly, there's not really much of a difference. It has to do with some simple, getting you to believe something that you didn't, and so it's just comes down to you believe you have an expectation that the placebo is going to work, and it does based on that. And it's the same thing with programming your mind. You either expect it to work or you don't. If you get hypnotized for something and you really are saying to yourself, this isn't going to work, this isn't going to work, this isn't going to work, there's a pretty good chance that it's not going to work. It can work that way sometimes, um, because it just, just really depends on the state that you're in when you get hypnotized, and somebody gives you suggestions, and you might be saying it's not going to work, but then there's a part of you that does kind of think, well, it could work. And so then you're able to accept those suggestions. And so that's, essentially, I hope that answered your question.
It's like talking yourself into something that you don't want to do.
That you don't want, in a way, yeah. Like if you have like you need to go to the gym and work out, right? I mean, everybody knows that you need to exercise, but sometimes you just don't really feel like it. But the hypnosis can help you to motivate you to do those things that you need to do, but you just don't feel like it. But it's not going to get you to do things that aren't in alignment with your values. So if there's, something that somebody's trying to program you to do that, you know, something really bad, you're not going to do that because it's not in alignment with your values. Exercising, maybe you don't want to do it, but it's in alignment with your values if you want to be healthy.
Like you said earlier, we are not robots.
We're not robots. Exactly.
And I got another question. What makes a good life success coach?
Oh, I would say, number one, just having the passion for helping people. Just the fact that you want to see somebody transform and become better than they realize that they can be in this present moment. Just wanting that person, wanting that transformation for that person, I think is one of the, I mean, there's many different things. Just being a good listener, really being able to be very attentive and understand what it is that they're telling you, and really helping them to guide them to find their own answers. Because sometimes coaches will they'll want to just give you the answer, but that's just not something that's going to be very helpful for them. So just having the ability to, the more you can really really listen to somebody, and the more you can really really care about them as a person, asking and just being able to ask the right questions of them, to be able to help them, and seeing that person bigger than they see themselves. So there's just a lot of different qualities, that really come through experience too, in life coaching. And just believing in their ability to find the answers that they need to create the results that they want, and listening to them, and just being there for them to assist them in getting there.
Okay, that's good. That's a good answer. Cause I'm good with people. I might go into that one day, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah. What do you do, by the way? What is your tell me a little bit about, where you're at.
Well, I'm from Chicago, Illinois. I'm 23 years old. I'm a Black
Mhm.
African American. I'm six
Mhm.
seven.
Mhm. You're
I'm good.
tall.
Yeah, I'm good at basketball. I'm a
Mhm.
comedian. I'm very funny. I got a good voice. I'm a great singer, by the way, as well.
Uh-huh.
And I just got my
What made you
bachelor's.
start this podcast?
This girl from my from the Upkey internship program told me. She said I got a knack for talking to people and communicating with others. So
Mhm.
she the one told me to do this.
Mhm. Cool. And so you got some more guests lined up?
Right now, none so far.
Mhm.
You the only
Mhm.
one. It just they be busy and stuff. It's hard to book people.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm here.
Okay.
I'm happy that you are here on the show today, though.
Yeah, you're
We're not
welcome.
gonna
You're
talk about
welcome.
nobody else. Today is your interview.
Yep. Thank you. I appreciate that.
It's what does renowned authority on the law of attraction mean, and why is it so important to have a law of attraction?
Well, let's dive into that. So if you see that book there, that's a book called Practical Law of Attraction, and I wrote that book a couple of years ago. And so I am, somebody, so a renowned authority. We'll break this down into the two questions you asked. So renowned authority, that's somebody who people look to as somebody who knows a lot about law of attraction, that has been successful at applying it in their own life. And when people think about this, the law of attraction, they they usually think about people that have written best-selling books, or that have created massive awareness about the topic, and so they people consider me that person. So why is it important to understand law of attraction? Well, I mean, law of attraction is really how everything in life works. It deals with you being, like, so you have a goal in your life ultimately. And what's really important to understand is that how you think and how you vibrate, your energy that you're emitting, the person's vibe. You've heard of, like, oh, that person's got a great vibe, or they've got a negative vibe, right? You've heard that. So
Yep,
when a
I heard it.
person,
Yeah.
yeah, and you know how, like, there's people in the world that they don't have a really good vibe, right? And every when they're and you don't want to be around them, right? And they've got a bad attitude, and they tend to complain a lot. They tend to, like, draw negative stuff happens to them all the
I don't want to be
time. And
around those people.
you don't want to be around those people, right? You don't want to do anything for those people. Well, it's kind of, but on the other hand, there's those people that there's just something about them. Like, they're just so magnetic. They're just so, like, charismatic. They're so, like, they've got this great energy. And you've been around those people too, right? That they
That sounds
just,
like me.
yeah. Exactly. You do have a great energy. And, so those people, they, you just feel good when you're around them. But do you know some other people besides you that are in your life that you just like being around them because they just have that good energy? You just feel good when you're around them. You
Yeah,
know people like that?
my friend that I went to high school with.
Uh-huh. Okay.
When
And
we get in a
and
room,
these, Go ahead.
when we get in the room, there's nobody else around.
Yeah, yeah. And and have you ever noticed how those kind of people, they tend to get whatever they focus on, if whatever positive thing they focus on, they tend to just be able to create that, right? They just tend to, like, they go for what they want and then they get that. And so that's really what the law of attraction is all about, is that you attract based on how you are vibrating. Okay.
It's like
So
relationships.
it's very much like relationships, because when it really comes down to it, every single thing that we ever attract, it comes to us through a relationship of some kind. I mean, I don't care whether it's your dream uh mate, your soulmate, your dream house, your dream car, your dream job, whatever it is that you want, it comes to you through a person, or through a connection to that person, or a connection to a connection to a connection to that person. But somehow or another, you are connected to whatever it is that you want. And it's a matter of cultivating um, that positive, feeling, the positive thoughts, the positive actions, positive, imagination, all of that. When you are thinking and feeling and being and acting positively and good, and that feel good state, you are going to wind up with the thing that you're thinking about. And that goes both ways. It also goes for, like, if you're just constantly in a bad mood, you're constantly saying, yeah, the world sucks, everybody sucks, uh I can't get, I can't get a job, I can't get paid, I can't get a relationship, all the women suck, men suck, all that. Well, guess what? That's exactly what you're going to draw in. And so that's what the law of attraction is. It's just that. It's just having this attitude of gratitude and abundance, or the other way around, and just you attract and you get what you focus on most often. Does that kind of help you understand it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You did a good job.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
How do I start using the law of attraction?
Oh, that is such a great question. All right. So, the very first step to using the law of attraction is for you to get ultra, ultra clear on what it is that you do want to create. Okay. So, it starts with having a desire, something that you feel passionate about. And really getting yourself into a good state with that each and every day, making sure that your thoughts are in alignment with that, that the words that are coming out of your mouth, what you're saying, that you're giving that your attention in a way that's not so, it's not your, you can be obsessed, but if you get to a point where your thoughts about that thing feel bad, like, then you're overthinking it, and you're thinking about it like in a very attached way, because you're like, where is my stuff already? Like, I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking about it, but it's not here yet. Where's my stuff? And so you want to think about it in, like, that placebo effect, like, you just know that it's going to work and you feel good, just the same way that you know that your birthday is going to come and you're going to get presents on your birthday. Same way that you know that Christmas is coming and you're going to get presents on Christmas. You don't necessarily know what they're going to be, okay, but you just have a expectation and you know that it's going to be there and you believe. And that is really the key to using. So it just starts with the desire and getting everything else into alignment, your thoughts, your feelings. If you get inspired ideas, to take action on those ideas, you have to take action, and you have to, feel grateful for the things that you have. So those are just a few tips on how to get started. Of course, my book offers all kinds of techniques and tools and tips that, really, help you to, to do it in a very systematic, methodical way.
You should send me a book, you know.
Well, they're available on Amazon and ebook or
Okay.
Audible or paperback.
Okay, maybe I might check it out, you know.
Yeah,
I
definitely
got a question.
definitely worth checking out. It'll change your life.
And that's what we want to do. For the better, though,
Yes,
not the worse.
absolutely.
I got another question. How do I know if I'm using the law of attraction properly?
Based on if you take a look around you and you like what you see, you're using it properly. If you take a look around you and you don't like what you see, you're not using it properly. It's always working. And when we start blaming people and things and governments and society and, all kinds of things, when we start looking out there and saying, oh, it's because of them that I don't have this. When we do that, we're not using it properly because we're giving away our power and we're saying, oh, that person has the power to control or affect my life. But really, where is all the power, Dion? Where is all the power?
It's within yourself.
It's
What it's
within
like, yeah,
you.
yeah.
Within you. So if you firmly believe that, then you begin to think in a new way and you realize that my thoughts, are affecting how I feel. They're affecting everything that I see around me. They're affecting how I believe. They're affecting how I behave. They're affecting how other people perceive me. And so it all really starts with that. So it's about taking a look around you and seeing, like, do I like what I see? No. Okay. I own that. I created that because I'm powerful. And it's a much more empowering way to go through life when you realize, even though there's things that you've created that you don't like, when you own it and you say, you know what? I created that. I didn't like the result that I created, but guess what? Because I know I created that, then guess what I get to do? I can create something I like instead. Does that make
And you
sense?
can live with it. Yeah, and you can live with that, with those things that you do.
I didn't understand that. Say that one more time.
I said you can live with the results when you are
You
doing
can
things the
live
right
with it.
way.
Yeah, you can live with the results. Absolutely. Absolutely. And
I got another.
as you start to manifest, small things, and you start to see some results coming as a result of changing your thinking, then you can begin to manifest bigger and better things in your life. And
Yeah,
sky's
I got
really,
you.
there's no limits. It's unlimited.
It's like the sky is blue.
Mhm.
I got another question. What is the single biggest factor to it that people may not know about?
Um, that's a good question. I think the single biggest factor is that it really comes down to the biggest secret is really that it is all about what you believe in your heart. And that is probably above all else. So many people, they say, oh, I think, and I do my affirmations and I do my meditation and I do my hypnosis, but they do not get to the point where they actually believe in what they are saying. So you've got to you've got to do it long enough and consistently enough to get yourself to believe it. If you hear something enough times with consistency, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, you will begin to believe it and you will begin to alter your life. And so the biggest thing really is to do whatever it takes to get yourself to believe what it is, believe what you want. And if you can get yourself to do that consistently, there's no stopping you from getting what you want.
Yeah, I feel you. It's like, yeah, if you dream it, you if you work at it, you gonna get your dreams gonna come true.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, but it really the key is, and if you're, a person, you know where you're at on your level of belief when you're asking like, well, where is it already? Well, that question comes from doubt. That question comes from fear. That question comes from worry. And if you have fear, doubt, and worry, those are the three biggest enemies to you getting what you want. And so if you're asking that question, you know that it's not coming from belief. You wouldn't ask that question. You wouldn't ask like, I mean, obviously, like you're sitting in a restaurant and you placed your order and you might, you might say like, where is it already? But you do know that it's coming, you know, but if you just keep asking the waiter over and over again, where is it? I mean, eventually they're going to kind of get annoyed with that question,
Bad.
but it really just kind of, it just comes down to so much of it really just comes down to this, the law of believing, the magic of believing. There's just magic. And when you can just get yourself to totally surrender to this is happening. This is happening.
Okay, so I got a couple more questions.
Sure.
What made you want to write all of these books and go into hypnotherapy in the first place?
I was at a place in my life 22 years ago. Gosh, you were 1 years old, I guess. And I decided I decided when I was, 22 years ago, I wanted the 1-year-old to have something better for themselves. No, I I was in at that point I was kind of in a job that, it was paying really, really great money, but it wasn't satisfying and fulfilling for me to be in that job anymore. And I just, the lights kind of turned on one day, and I decided that I realized that my whole passion and my whole purpose in this life was to help people to get what they wanted. Like that was ultimately what caused me to become a hypnotherapist was I just became aware of how powerful our brains are, and I wanted to help people to use them in a way that was more beneficial to them. And most people kind of abuse their brains. They criticize themselves. They imagine the worst case scenarios, and I just wanted to help set people free and give them more freedom and give them access to a life that they can feel passionate about, because I felt, a point where I didn't feel very passionate. So that's, each of these books, I just get an idea in my head, and I'm like, well, here's another way of ultimately explaining that to maybe a different group of people. And I just, I have so much information that I want to share. My next book is coming out. It's called How to Manifest Your Soulmate Using the Law of Attraction. And, that's a book. It's kind of, I tell my love story about how me and my soulmate met. And then I break it down into the steps that I took to meet and marry the man of my dreams, who I've been married to now for over 12 years. And I just want people to have the life that they want and be able to tap into the power of their mind. And these books help people greatly to be able to do that.
Yeah, that's a great story. Perseverance, and you coming a long way. Now look at you now.
I know. Thank you.
And I got one more question. What makes people be in a trance and block everything out around them?
How does a person go into trance and block out like distractions and things like that? Like how can they stay in trance? Is that what you're asking?
Yes, yes.
So, you know, doing that, I say through using like doing meditation, using like your breath or some sort of a mantra, like an affirmation that you have to focus on internally. That's the best way really to just block out everything around you, is to have one single focus. So, you just close your eyes and you just start thinking, I'm breathing in, and you feel the breath coming in through your nose and filling up your belly. And you just focus on that breath and the sensation and how that feels, and be so curious about that breath. And then I'm breathing out, and you just feel the air coming out your nose, and you just continue to focus all of your energy, all of your thoughts, your feelings on your breathing. Breathing is one example. You could also focus on just a sound. You could focus on something that you visualize in your mind, but it's really just directing your focus to one thing, and that will help you to block out everything going on around you, and that'll put you into your own personal state of trance.
Yeah, because me being young and everything, I deal with, it's so much negativity. We got a virus going on and everything. And it's hard to be calm, but you got to stay calm no matter what.
You do. You absolutely do. And it's like I kind of live in a little bit of my own bubble here because I work from home. I have an online business. I don't really turn on too much of the news, and I don't usually have too many conversations with people about this virus. And it's always it's kind of like whenever I do go out of my house, it's always a little bit of a shock to me, even though I know I've got my little basket of masks in front of the door. So I know I need to grab a mask when I go out. But it's like because like I will go days and days without wearing a mask because we just hang around at home and we go hiking around this beautiful area. So the point is that I'm not inundated with all of um, that information. So it's just like for us in this house, there's no virus. There's no
that's what
virus
I
here.
say in my house. Yes,
Yeah.
that's a great point.
Yeah. The only reason I know about it is because of other people that, like because what you see on the news or or what you see on social media or what you see. That's the only reason I know about it. But it's really, or, you see masks. But that, like, it's still bizarre to me. It's still bizarre to me that we're still dealing with this. Like I would never have in a million years last year thought we would still be dealing with this, but we are. And I guess you just adapt and you acclimate and you say, okay, well, and you just to me, I just kind of like try to separate myself from that. I have empathy and compassion for anybody who has been impacted by it, and I send my love and I send my healing, support through the ethers, to people, and for people who have lost their lives and people who have lost others who have lost their lives. I am very sad that that has happened, and what it has done to change, the general vibe of this country. It has really kind of, impacted a lot of people. But so I keep that part as like separate from me. And me, I'm just living my happy life. I'm continuing to be successful. I'm continuing to do the things that I do that make me happy and make my family happy and make my cats happy, and you know and that's just how you have to kind of go about these things, is you just have to create your own happiness because it really comes from within, and it doesn't matter what's going on out there. It's not going to impact me or anything in this household. And, so that's how I just kind of block all that stuff out, really. Just try to
Yeah, you
not
gotta.
let it impact my energy.
Yeah, don't hear the music or the loud noise. That's trying to get inside of you.
Yeah, that's a good way to yeah, that's a good way to think about it.
Well, I gotta say, it was a pleasure having you on my show today, and also I learned a lot about the law of attraction. I think it's very interesting. I didn't know that
Yeah.
or we use it. I didn't know we use it in our everyday lives like that. I learned a lot.
Yeah.
This was a very informational interview,
Well,
and
I'm
you got a
so
lot of knowledge.
Oh, thank you so much. And I'm so, so thankful that you invited me to be your second guest on your show. Thank you very much. And I'm delighted to have been able to, enlighten you and enlighten your audience about how this works because it's very, very powerful. And, I encourage anybody who's listening to download my free app, HypnoCloud. It actually has about 12 different free hypnosis sessions that you can get access to just right there on your phone. And you can also get access to 500 more, for the paid subscription. But, it offers you an opportunity to try out hypnosis, try it out and free of charge. And then, for those of you who want to learn more about law of attraction, you can definitely go to Amazon.com and type in Victoria Gallagher is really the best way to find it. Law of Attraction, Victoria Gallagher, because there's a few books out there on law of attraction. So, I just encourage if you want to learn more, it's in the book.
And I got one more thing. Can you send me your email? Maybe we can talk through email.
Sure, absolutely. Yep.
And one more thing, you always invite to come back on the show. You always invite to be another a guest on my show.
Well,
I
thank
welcome
you.
you with
What?
open arms.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And thank you very much for having me on your show. I appreciate that.
No, I appreciate you. I'm grateful that you came on my show today.
Well, thank you.